Today's video, we're going to talk about the 5 things Gibson needs to do to stop sucking. Today's video is sponsored by Native Sons Goods, makers of the highest quality woven guitar, bag, and camera straps you'll ever see. Native Sons straps are handmade one at a time in the USA with unparalleled love and care. Click the link in the description to check out their new expanded lineup featuring all new 3-inch guitar straps. And remember, when you support my sponsor, you support this channel, and I sure appreciate it. Hey, what's shaking, Twitchy people? Brad the Guitarologist here. First off, I want to acknowledge I realize these Gibson videos have pretty much jumped the shark, but I think there are some points in here that I'm about to make that you guys will find interesting, so bear with me. The number one thing that Gibson needs to do in order to stop sucking is bring back factory seconds. Every factory has defective product, particularly those who adhere to high quality control standards. The more keen the quality control, the more defective products are going to be culled from the line before they reach the consumer. Every cull that is created represents lost hours, wages, and company resources. So part of the effort to offset the cost of high QC, Gibson needs to bring back the factory second, either by stamping them as seconds as they did in the Norlin era, or giving them an all-new life as a lower model. Perhaps some of those with final stage finish imperfections could be given a light relic and become a different model. Perhaps something caught earlier on in the process could become some kind of finish-it-yourself guitar with a full Gibson license, but at a steep discount to allow the hobbyist to kind of finish it himself to his own specifications. This would give the do-it-yourselfer a chance to finish any flaws and do it however he wants to do it. I've made videos in the past showing how Gibson has instructed people at Guitar Center and other stores to destroy their instruments when they have some sort of problem, some sort of blemish with them, rather than stamping them as seconds or rather than sending them back. Focus on QC is great, but when it comes to being environmentally conscious and not throwing these guitars away just because of some tiny flaw, Gibson has been very bad at that. And this practice needs to end, and therefore it's time to bring back the factory second. Number 2 thing Gibson can do to stop sucking is to license their own intellectual property. Gibson has a sad history of litigiousness, which frankly hasn't been all that successful. A lot of their court cases that they've brought forth in recent years have completely lost, including the recent one in Europe where they lost the trademark to the Flying V in Europe. Maybe a better solution would be to invite would-be pirates of your IP to the negotiating table to put licensing agreements in place instead of expensive lawyers and lengthy trials. Obviously, any company ripping off the Gibson name should be punished for it, but if their recent commitment to cooperation is really for real, maybe they should consider finally leveraging their intellectual property smartly and advantageously in licensing deals which benefit everybody. The number 3 thing Gibson needs to do is treat mom and pop stores with more respect. This is probably the biggest thing on this list. One of the constant complaints of small mom and pop stores who don't have the purchasing power of a Thomann or a Sam Ash or a Guitar Center is that Gibson's inventory demands are so unreasonable and crazy expensive that they would have to mortgage their homes and sell their souls in order to buy in with Gibson. This is crazy, and it's terrible business. I cannot tell you the number of times as the manager of a small mom and pop store that I had somebody come in and tell me they would love to buy a Gibson guitar from me, but I couldn't sell it to them. And they never wanted to go back to a Guitar Center for the rest of their lives, and they wouldn't buy things online because they were uncomfortable dealing online. This is very common, a lot more common than you might think. As much as we might think of mom and pop stores as yesterday's dinosaurs, in some small towns they are the heart and soul of that local music community. They have the respect and loyalty of their customer base, and some of that customer base would love to buy a Gibson guitar from them. They just haven't had the chance. Another wonderful aspect of dealing with mom and pop stores is they often have very knowledgeable representatives in the stores who have a lot of experience in the music business. Unlike a lot of Guitar Centers and large big box stores, they know how to fix a lot of minor setup flaws like badly slotted nuts, high frets, or poor intonation. The kinds of flaws that sadly and routinely get sent back to big box stores and returned for a full refund. Also, opening up with more mom and pop stores is going to mean that less of your eggs are in the same basket. So if a large retailer like GC does finally buy bite the dust, which indications say they very well may within the next couple years when their debts come due, you won't be scrambling to try to figure out how to prevent your company from following suit. So in short, offer more buy-in tiers to get mom and pop stores back on your side and start treating them with respect. Number 4 thing Gibson needs to do to stop sucking is foster customer loyalty. Amazon and a host of other retailers in the 21st century have figured out the value of customer loyalty. It is a dog-eat-dog retail environment, margins are slim, and it's very competitive. Many of these retailers are figuring out that they need to offer some kind of affiliate programs or referral programs which reward the person referring another customer with cash or points that they can redeem for some kind of product. This would be an obvious win-win for Gibson, and I'm not sure why they haven't implemented something like this already. Perhaps these deals could include some of the factory culls that I talked about in reason number 1. And finally, last but not least, the number 5 thing that Gibson needs to do to absolutely stop sucking is to reach out to YouTubers. This one's obviously a little bit self-centered, but hear me out here. You can't just send out free guitars to 3 or 4 YouTubers and think that that's okay, or that's going to gain you some kind of long-term loyalty or respect. You're just not going to get great results with that approach. The YouTube community isn't dumb, and they can usually smell when somebody's been bought off. That's why it's important for you to actually reach out to people instead. Email them, ask them their opinion on your products, or how they feel overall about the company. Is there anything you could improve? Just the mere act of asking someone how they feel about you and your company could win them over to your side. And it'll show you actually care about both them and your own products. You will not only win loyal fans by doing more of this, but you'll also gain valuable suggestions and feedback that you couldn't even pay for with an expensive survey or poll. So that's it, guys. Those are the 5 things Gibson needs to do to stop sucking. The one thing I hear a lot is that so many people want Gibson to succeed, but they keep being given reasons not to like them. You know, I think the reason passions run so high whenever bad Gibson news comes out is people feel like Gibson is like that family member that just keeps falling off the wagon and keeps trying to borrow money from you, and at some point you just got to cut that person loose for your own sanity. You love them, but you just don't want to take any more of their shit. But I'm convinced that not all is lost for Gibson. If they just do at least these 5 things, that would go a real long way toward them not sucking and toward winning over a lot of new fans going forward. So that'll do it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit subscribe down below. Hit the bell to receive all notifications. And for now, we'll see y'all later.